Imagine two people, same age, same job, same paycheck. One of them retires at 55 with more money than he'll ever spend. The other one hits 60 and starts to panic, quietly, at night, wondering if he'll ever be able to stop working. Here's the thing that no one talks about. The difference between these two people had nothing to do with luck. It had nothing to do with getting rich quickly. It had nothing to do with picking the right stock or finding the perfect investment. The only real difference? One of them started investing a small, boring amount of money every single month and just never stopped. That's it. No secret formula. No insider tip. No financial genius. Just consistency. For 10 years. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what happens when you do that. The numbers will genuinely surprise you. And more importantly, I'm going to show you why almost nobody actually does it, even though it works. Stay with me on this. Because once you see the full picture, the way you think about money will never be the same. Let's be honest about something. Most people have a completely broken relationship with investing. Here's how it usually goes. Someone turns 22, gets their first real job, and thinks, okay, I should probably start investing. But then life happens. Rent goes up. The phone needs replacing. A friend's wedding. A vacation. A car repair. And so the investing gets pushed to next month. And next month becomes next year. And next year becomes when I earn more. And when I earn more becomes when I'm more financially stable. And before they know it, they're 35 and they haven't even started. Now here's the really painful part. It's not that people are lazy or irresponsible. It's that our brains are genuinely terrible at understanding long-term money. There's a concept in psychology called present bias. It means our brains are hardwired to value things that benefit us right now over things that will benefit us in the future. It's an evolutionary thing. Our ancestors needed to prioritize immediate survival over long-term planning. And that wiring still lives inside us today. So when your brain compares, enjoy a nice dinner tonight, to have a comfortable retirement in 30 years, it genuinely struggles to feel motivated by the second option. The retirement feels abstract. The dinner feels real. This is why even smart, educated people keep putting off investing. It's not a knowledge problem. It's a psychological problem. But here's where it gets interesting. Because what happens when you actually overcome that mental block and invest consistently for 10 years? The results are so far beyond what people expect that it almost seems like a trick. Let me walk you through what consistent investing actually looks like. And let's use a real number, something manageable, something that almost anyone reading this could find if they looked at their budget honestly. Let's say you invest $200 a month. That's it, $200. The price of a few takeout meals and a couple of streaming subscriptions. You invest $200 every single month for 10 years into an index fund that tracks the broad stock market, something that, historically, has returned around 10% per year on average. Now, before I give you the number, I want you to guess. You're putting in $200 a month. That's $2,400 a year. Over 10 years, that's $24,000 of your own money going in. So maybe your gut says you'd end up with somewhere around $28,000 or $30,000, right? A little growth on top of what you put in. Okay, here's the actual number. After 10 years of investing $200 a month at 10% annual returns, you'd have approximately $38,000 to $41,000. Now some of you are thinking, okay, that's nice, but it's not life-changing. And you're right. But here's where it gets really interesting. That number isn't the point. Because if you keep going, if you simply don't stop at year 10, something extraordinary begins to happen. At year 20, that same $200 a month, you'd be sitting on roughly $150,000. At year 30, over $450,000. At year 35, you're approaching $750,000 to $800,000 from $200 a month. And here's the kicker. The majority of that money wasn't money you put in. It was money your money made. Interest on interest on interest. Growing silently, automatically, every single month. This is what people call compound interest. And Albert Einstein, whether he actually said it or not, was reportedly so astonished by this concept that he called it the eighth wonder of the world. But let me explain it in a way that actually makes sense. Imagine you have a snowball. You pack it tight, set it at the top of a long snowy hill, and give it one gentle push. At first, it rolls slowly. It picks up a thin layer of snow. Not much is happening. Someone watching from a distance would think, why bother? That snowball is tiny. But here's what they're missing. Every tiny layer of snow it gathers also starts gathering more snow. The snowball gets a little bigger. Then that little bit makes it even bigger. Then that makes it even bigger. And by the time it reaches the bottom of the hill, what started as a fist-sized ball of snow has become something massive, crushing everything in its path. That's compound interest. Your original $200 earns a return. Then that return also earns a return. And that return's return earns a return. Every single month, for years and decades. The snowball is always rolling. It never stops. It doesn't need you to push it harder. It just needs time and a long enough hill. And the single most important lesson here is this. The hill is time. The longer you invest consistently, the longer the hill. And the longer the hill, the more terrifying, in the best possible way, that snowball becomes by the time it reaches the bottom. Now let me show you something that really brings this home. Two people, Sarah and James. Sarah starts investing $200 a month at age 25. She does it every month without fail until she's 35. Then life gets complicated, kids, mortgage, big expenses, and she completely stops. She doesn't add another single dollar after age 35. She just leaves what's there and lets it grow. James starts at 35. He puts in $200 every month, consistently, from age 35 all the way until he's 65. 30 years of investing. Never misses a single month. Now, who has more money at age 65? Your instinct says James, right? He invested 3 times as many years. 3 times as much money. 3 times the dedication. But here's the truth that will change how you think about investing forever. Sarah, who stopped at 35 and never invested another dollar, ends up with more money than James at age 65. More. Sarah invested for just 10 years in her mid-20s and stopped. James invested for 30 years straight. And Sarah still wins. How? Because Sarah gave her money time. She gave it the full length of the hill. And compound interest doesn't care how hard you worked or how disciplined you were in the later years. It cares about when you started. This is the part that most people never learn until it's too late. So why doesn't everyone do this? If investing consistently for 10 years, especially if you start young, produces such remarkable results, why is it that the majority of people reach their 40s and 50s with almost nothing invested? It comes back to psychology. And there are 3 specific traps that catch almost everyone. The first trap is called the invisibility of slow progress. When you invest $200 in month 1 and you see $200 sitting in an account, it feels pointless. In month 6, you might have $1,220 and have earned $20 in returns. $20. You could have just not had a coffee for a week and save the same amount. It doesn't feel meaningful. Our brains are designed to find motivation through visible, immediate progress. We like seeing the scoreboard change in real time. Investing, especially in the early years, looks nothing like that. So our brains quietly whisper, "This isn't working. Why bother?" But the progress isn't invisible because it's not happening. It's invisible because it's happening underground. Like a tree, you don't see the roots spreading. You don't see the cellular growth. You just see a small, unimpressive sapling. And then one day, years later, you look up and realize there's a magnificent tree over your head providing shade, oxygen, and fruit. And you almost missed it because it never looked impressive in the early stages. The second trap is lifestyle inflation. You get a raise. Instead of thinking, how do I invest the difference? Your brain goes straight to, what can I afford now that I couldn't before? A nicer apartment, a newer car, eating out more, better vacations. And this isn't evil or shallow. It's human. It's your brain rewarding you for working hard by demanding an upgrade. But every time you inflate your lifestyle to meet your income, you reset the clock on your wealth building. You stay at the same financial altitude even while earning more. The people who build wealth consistently are the ones who, every time their income rises, keep a portion of that raise permanently invisible. They automate the investment before they ever see it in their account. They never learn to live on that money, so they never miss it. The third trap is waiting for certainty. This one is subtle and very powerful. People want to invest, but they want to invest at the right time. They want the market to be calm, predictable, clearly going up. They want to feel confident. They're waiting for a signal that says, okay, it's safe now. But that signal never comes. Markets are always uncertain. There's always a reason to wait. Always a headline to worry about. And every month you wait for certainty is a month you don't invest. Which means it's a month the snowball doesn't roll. Which means, at the end of the hill, your snowball is smaller, often by amounts that would break your heart if you ever calculated them. Here's a painful truth. The cost of waiting is always higher than the cost of investing at the wrong time. The people who invested consistently through market crashes, through recessions, through scary headlines, they didn't just survive. They built wealth faster than everyone who sat on the sidelines waiting for things to feel safe. Because when markets fall, your $200 buys more shares than it did last month. You're not losing. You're actually accumulating more ownership at a discount. And when markets recover, and historically, they always do, those shares are suddenly worth far more than what you paid for them. This is something the wealthy understand intuitively. Volatility is the price you pay for long-term returns. It's not a bug. It's the feature. The discomfort is the toll booth on the road to wealth. So what should you actually do with all of this? Let me give you a framework that's simple enough to start today. Not next month, not when things settle down, not when you earn more. Today. Step 1. Decide on an amount that feels slightly uncomfortable, not painful, not reckless, but slightly uncomfortable. Because if the amount feels easy and convenient, your future self will find excuses to redirect it elsewhere. You want to invest at a level where you feel it just enough to take it seriously. If you can only manage $50 a month, start with $50. The amount matters far less than the habit. You can always increase it later. In fact, you should plan to, every year, try to increase your monthly investment by even 10 or 20%. Step 2. Automate it immediately. Set up an automatic transfer the day after your paycheck hits. The money goes directly into your investment account before you have a chance to spend it. Your brain can't miss money it never saw. This is the single most powerful move in personal finance. Not because it's complex, but because it removes the decision entirely. You don't have to be disciplined every month. You just have to be disciplined once when you set it up. Step 3. Invest in something simple. If you're just starting out, you don't need to pick stocks. You don't need a complex strategy. A low-cost index fund, something that tracks a broad market index, is what most long-term investors use. It's diversified, it's passive, it's affordable, and it has outperformed the vast majority of professional fund managers over long time periods. Simple wins. Every time. Step 4. Protect it from yourself. This is the step most people skip. You need to make it slightly inconvenient to withdraw your investment. Not impossible, but uncomfortable enough that you won't touch it when you have a bad month or get tempted to upgrade something. The greatest threat to your long-term investment isn't the market. It's you. Set it, automate it, and make a personal rule. This money doesn't exist for any other purpose. It's not an emergency fund. It's not a vacation fund. It's your future self's money. And your future self is counting on your present self to leave it alone. Here's a thought I want to leave you with. Think about yourself 10 years from now. Not in a vague, abstract way. Really picture it. Where do you want to live? What do you want your days to look like? What kind of choices do you want to have? Because here's the uncomfortable reality. The version of you that exists in 10 years is being shaped right now. By the habits you build today. By the decisions you automate this week. By whether you start the snowball rolling now or keep waiting for the perfect moment. 10 years sounds like a long time. But 10 years from now will come whether you invest or not. The only question is, when that day arrives, do you want to look back on this moment as the day you started or as another day you put it off? The people who build real wealth aren't special. They didn't have secret information or perfect timing. They just made one decision and kept showing up. Month after month, year after year, letting the snowball roll. And here's what no one tells you about consistent investing. After a while, it stops feeling like a sacrifice. It starts feeling like identity. Like something you just do, as naturally as paying rent or brushing your teeth. And then one day, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you'll look at your account and realize something quietly stunning. That the most powerful financial force in your life wasn't your salary. It wasn't a lucky break. It wasn't even your discipline. It was time. And you gave it to yourself.